Buying a home is a milestone in anyone's life. It's filled with excitement and anticipation, and also can be a little bit overwhelming and a little bit complex. Today, I'd like to help demystify the process and guide you through in the proper order, and help ease those anxieties. I'm Hanna Perrin with eXp Realty, and I'm your Oklahoma City and Edmond Realtor. Welcome to my channel if it's your first time, and welcome back if not. Please subscribe if it is your first time, and tap the bell for notification. So let's dive right in. So step number one is hire a realtor. They're there to represent your best interests. Oftentimes, the seller will have an agent representing them, so you will want one representing you so that you don't get taken advantage of. Normally, they come at no cost to the buyer. This happens because when the seller lists the property, the listing agent negotiates a commission. And they will decide to split the commission with a buyer's agent if they bring a buyer. Sometimes, however, this doesn't happen, and the seller will not pay enough commission for the selling agent to do this. So in that case, you may be liable for their commission. Another example might be a for sale by owner that will not pay a commission to the buyer's agent when they bring a buyer. So just have that conversation with your realtor and kind of navigate the best practice there. Also, a buyer's agent may ask you to sign a buyer broker's agreement. This is common, so don't be alarmed by this. It just kind of outlines the duties of your agent, and it helps the agent to get paid. They spend a lot of time searching for properties and helping you through the process, and so this helps them get compensated for their time. So step number two is get pre-approved through a lender. Most people get this step out of order and they house hunt first. That's not the best practice. You need to know how much you qualify for. So to do that, you need to talk to a lender. If you don't have one you specifically know or like, ask your realtor for some references. They'll likely give you several to talk to, and feel free to shop around. Talk to all of them. You're not obligated to just go with the first one you call. Some lenders can give you better rates and things, so feel free to ask them all the questions you have, because you'll likely have several, and that's okay. Lenders are going to ask you for several things. They're going to ask you for 2 years of W-2s or 1099s, whichever applies to you. They're going to ask for probably a month's worth of pay stubs, 2 years of tax returns, and probably 2 or 3 of your most recent bank statements. If you can get this to them quickly, that'll speed the process along, and they can get you pre-approved fairly quickly. So it's best to get everything in as soon as possible so you can get started. So now there's step number 3, decide what you want. Talk to your realtor and discuss things like home size, bedrooms and bathrooms, if you want acreage with it, or a pool, or any of the amenities you might be looking for. That helps the realtor narrow down kind of what you're looking at and not show you homes that are just out of your price range or out of your needs, or just even your wants. It's not necessary to go look at 25 homes. When you do that, you get overwhelmed with all the different options, and then you just kind of get lost. And so it's better to narrow it down to 5 or 10 homes, and even 10 might be a little bit much. But don't feel like you need to go look at 25 homes. If you want to do that before you start the process, because it wastes your time, and like I say, you kind of get lost in all the options. So now you've picked the house that you like. So step number 4 is make an offer. So you do this by deciding what you want to pay for the property, and if there's anything you want to ask for help with. So it's common for first-time home buyers to sometimes ask the seller to help pay for closing costs, and you can speak to your realtor about that. The realtor will go through the contract with you and help explain some of the things you might not understand. And also remember, don't wait too long if you find the house you like, because there's probably other buyers out looking at the same properties you are, and you don't want to miss it. So when you make the offer, one of 3 things will happen. Either the sellers will say okay and accept everything that you've asked for, they'll just completely reject it and not counter offer, Or number three, they'll counter the offer that you made. And they may ask for more money or different closing date, different title company. It just could be a combination of things. So once you and the seller have come to terms and agreed on all the aspects of the contract, then you've signed, and we've moved into step number 5, investigations, inspections, and reviews. So this is your due diligence period. In Oklahoma, it's 10 days after you sign. This is where you order the home inspection or the termite inspection or any other inspection you want. There could be a foundation or plumbing or electrical inspection, among many other options. So in Oklahoma, if you get a loan and don't pay cash for the house, then you have to do a termite inspection. When the home inspector comes in, he'll look at everything. He goes on the roof, he goes in the attic, he goes under the house in the crawl spaces. He opens doors and looks at water heaters and air conditioners and just so many things. It's just an overall report card of the house. When he's done, you'll get a whole list showing everything he did with pictures and things that he recommends that you get looked for. Now, he's not a specialist, so if he sees something that he recommends you get a second opinion on, like maybe plumbing or electrical, that's a good time to order someone who specializes in that and is certified. And you can do that as well in the 10-day time period. During this time, it's also a good time to start shopping for insurance. Speak to different agents, and again, if you need recommendations on insurance agents, your realtor can help you with that as well. You'll have to have that done before closing. So now we move on to step number 6. You look through your inspection reports, and we negotiate repairs if there's anything you want to ask for. What I like to recommend is if some of the systems aren't working properly, let's say the air conditioner is not working properly, or if you have like a major roof problem, something similar to that, we like to ask to have the seller repair that. Most of the time, sellers are open to this, and they understand that sometimes they need to make repairs in order to sell their property. So just go through this list with your realtor, and they'll help guide you through it. In Oklahoma, sellers have 7 days to review this. Once you send in your list and they've had time to discuss it and go over it, one of 3 things will happen here. Either they'll say, okay, we'll fix it, we're not fixing anything, or they may counter back with some of the repairs over other repairs. So once you and the sellers have come to terms and agreed upon the repairs that are to be done, we move to the appraisal process. Your lender is going to order the appraisal. An appraisal is a determination of the value of the property that you're buying. It's there to protect you as the buyer and the lender for their investment. An appraiser will go out and they'll measure the house, they'll take pictures, and they'll look at it. And they'll go back to their office and compare other listings and other sold similar properties. And that's just the short version of how they come up with the price of the home. While they're there, they'll look for things that such as livability and safety of the home. And depending on the type of loan that you have, they have different things that they require. So conventional is not as specific as like VA and USDA and FHA loans. Some of the things that they look for are handrails on stairs, peeling paint, and just overall safety and habitability of the house. So when the appraiser's done, you'll have one of 3 outcomes. Either it'll come back exactly as what you've offered. So for instance, if you offer $250,000, it'll come back at $250,000. Option number 2 is it's higher than what you've offered to pay, and that's exciting because now you've got built-in equity. And occasionally you can, if there's enough equity there, you can negotiate with the lender to have some of your closing costs paid through the loan. The last outcome that could happen would it comes in lower than what you've priced or what you've offered on the home. If this happens, it's you have to go back and negotiate with the sellers. a lender is not going to lend more money than the home is worth. So if you offer $250,000 and the appraisal comes back at $225,000, then you have to go back to the seller and say, "Here's the appraisal. Are you willing to come down to $225,000?" If they are, that's great. If they're not, then you start the whole process over on a new home because you can't go through with the process, or you can pay the difference and move forward. So once the appraisal's done and all of the repairs are done, now we do the final walkthrough before closing. I like to do it the day of just because it's right before you're closing and you want to make sure that it's in the condition that you expect it to be in. You make sure any repairs may have been done before you close. So one of the ways you can do that is you can visually inspect it. You can have the home inspector come back out and re-inspect. He will charge you a fee. It's going to be a lesser fee than the original. Or you can ask for receipts for the repairs. It's best to ask beforehand. If you're going to ask for the receipts, ask the other realtor to have those provided as they do the work. It's just easier, and no one has to sift through all the papers and try to find those. So you walk through the house and everything suits you. Now it's the last step, it's closing. So when you go to closing, you're going to have all the final paperwork to sign. You'll need to bring 1 or 2 forms of ID. Bring 2 just to be safe. You'll bring your closing costs, and this will be either in a certified check or wired to the title company. You can't bring cash, and you cannot bring a personal check. They won't allow that. So we've made it through the home buying process and given you a few tricks along the way and tips. If you're looking to move to Oklahoma City or Edmond, please feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I'll get back with you. All of my information will be in the description below. And if you have anything that you want to learn about, please feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, hopefully we'll see you around.